In this video, I'm going to share Recruitment Coordinator interview questions and answers to help you secure a Recruitment Coordinator job, also known as a Recruitment Assistant or Recruitment Administrator. Now, to pass this interview, you need to have a clear understanding of the role, the duties, and what the interviewer will be looking out for. Now, there are timestamps below in the description in case you're looking for answers to a specific question, but a lot of these answers that I'll share can be used interchangeably for lots of different recruitment questions. So I recommend watching from beginning to end so that you'll be fully prepared and you won't get caught off guard with any tricky questions. I'm Amri Celeste, an interview coach and HR recruitment specialist with over 10 years hiring experience, and I make videos on how to help you secure the job that you want through covering lots of tough interview questions and answers, but also solid CV advice and job searching hacks. So do like and subscribe if you're job hunting at the moment. So the questions I'll cover in this video are some of the most common for recruitment coordinators, such as what is your understanding of the role? What relevant experience do you have? So I'll share how to answer this even if you don't have any recruitment experience. What are your top 3 skills? How do you keep yourself organized? What interests you about the job? What do you think might be the most challenging parts of this job? So I'll talk you through the typical challenges in a recruitment coordinator job. How do you keep up your motivation and accuracy when carrying out repetitive tasks? This is really important as there are some repetitive tasks in this job, so I'll share a strong example answer for that one. So one of the first questions that you might be asked in a recruitment coordinator interview is, what is your understanding of the role or of a typical recruitment coordinator duties? Now, if you're asked this, you can explain that you understand that this is a support role. It's very busy and very fast-paced with lots of changing duties. So you need to be personally organized and have the ability to build relationships with candidates, but also internal relationships with hiring managers and colleagues. And you also then want to list a few of the duties to show that you understand the day-to-day of the role. So typical recruitment coordinator duties include shortlisting. So this is a process whereby you're looking through candidates' applications and CVs and selecting those closest to the vacancy that you have advertised, and you're putting them into a shortlist or a final list. Booking and arranging job interviews, posting job adverts, amending or writing up job descriptions. And depending on whether you're in-house or agency, you might also be writing up employment contracts, and I'll explain this in more detail shortly. Now, these are just a few of the duties. They can vary depending on whether the job is agency or in-house. So I'll just explain what I mean by those terms. So for agency, a recruitment coordinator job would be a support role for either a recruitment consultant or a recruitment team in a recruitment agency. So most of you probably know this, but a recruitment agency will essentially go out and find a candidate to work at direct companies and then charge that direct company a fee for finding the candidate. And the recruitment consultant who works at that agency will then get a percentage of that fee. So what that means is that this is a sales environment, so it's generally very busy, very fast-paced, and it can be quite demanding. A recruitment coordinator job that is in-house would typically be based in an HR or human resources team, and you would be supporting a recruiter that works directly for that company, or you might be supporting a recruitment team. This is not a sales environment, and your duties may be tied in with HR responsibilities as well. Recruitment phrases. So it's really important that you understand some key recruitment phrases that I'll go over with you. And it's just so important because I remember years ago, I did a really bad interview. I was going for a job in a recruitment agency. Now I work in-house, but at the time I wanted a job in a recruitment agency. And I went and interviewed, and the manager asked me if I knew what KPIs were. And I kind of stared at her blankly, trying to figure out what this might mean. And eventually I kind of gave up and I was like, no. And then she asked me if I knew what an ATS was. And I was like, no. And I started to feel really embarrassed because I felt like I should probably know this. So I wanted to cover these phrases with you so that you don't get caught out with some of these phrases because they're pretty typical in the recruitment world. The first is KPI, which stands for Key Performance Indicators. So these are a set of measurable values or targets that consultants should adhere to, and they're also a reflection of how well they're performing in different areas. KPIs are much more common in a recruitment agency setting as they can be linked to commission structures and payouts. So KPIs can be things like needing to register a certain amount of candidates per week, or how long it takes a consultant to fill a role from the moment it hits their desk. sometimes called time to hire. So if a KPI were, say, 60 days, that would mean that you need to fill a role in about 2 months. And if you're meeting this, then you would be meeting that KPI. Now, although you may not have KPIs if the role is fairly junior, such as a recruitment coordinator, if you can show in your interview that you're familiar with these terms and you understand them, it shows that you've had exposure to a recruitment environment, or at least that you've done the research into that industry and familiarized yourself with those terms, which will impress because it demonstrates your interest. So the second term is ATS, which can be relevant in an agency or an in-house setting. An ATS stands for Applicant Tracking System, and this is an HR and recruitment system that an application will initially come into when a candidate applies for a job, and it can sometimes be automatically programmed to shortlist or decline candidate CVs or applications depending on whether they include certain key terms. If you're the recruitment coordinator, you might be manually looking through these applications that have come through to this ATS system. What relevant experience do you have? Here, if you have any recruitment or resourcing experience, you can share that with the interviewer. If you don't have experience, you can talk about any transferable skills you have and how you feel they could benefit the team or the role. So transferable skills are skills you've picked up in a previous role that could be useful or transferred to the role that you're interviewing for. For example, you could say something like, when I looked at the recruitment coordinator job description, I felt as though I had a lot of strong transferable skills for this role, which is part of what has attracted me to apply, along with my interest in this company and my passion and interest for recruitment. For example, I have a strong, clear communication skills. I think this is a critical skill. I always make sure that I keep lines of communication open with colleagues and managers so they don't have to chase me for information or updates. I make sure that I pay attention to requests and meet deadlines, and if for any reason I can't or I have conflicting priorities, I can make sure that I communicate with anyone affected in advance. I imagine in a busy role such as this, there are lots of changing requests and priorities, so I feel that this is really a key skill. If they were then to follow up and ask you how you prioritize or how you handle conflicting priorities, I do have an example answer to this question, which I'll also link in the description below this video. So with this answer, you're selling your skills that you do have and explaining why you think they would benefit this position. Of course, this is just an example. Use transferable skills that you can talk about confidently. That's the key. Don't use the skill strong, clear communication if this isn't a strength of yours. If you're getting value from this video and you want to support this channel, you can buy me a simple coffee, which would be much appreciated. It's really quick and there's a link in the description to show you how to do that. If not, a simple like would have a huge impact and ensure that this video is shown to more people looking on YouTube for these interview answers. Another question might be, what are your top 3 skills? When answering this question, you need to think about the skills that would be relevant in a role like this. So if you were interviewing for a role in a recruitment agency, which I mentioned earlier is a fast-paced, busy sales environment, then you could bring up skills like the ability to multitask, stay calm under pressure and stay organized. If you were in-house, you could use skills like the ability to build internal relationships, maintain a high level of accuracy, and communicate with managers at different levels. As if you were in-house, you would very likely be supporting recruitment for junior level positions as well as senior. So you would be communicating with managers at all different levels. So the next question is, how do you keep yourself organized? In this answer, you can talk about organization tools and how you keep track throughout the day. So you could say something like, I created a spreadsheet to keep track of key changes on the roles I'm working on throughout the day. Or if you don't have recruitment experience, you can talk about simple organization tools such as setting reminders on your Outlook calendar for key tasks and meetings. And as a bonus tip, when I was a junior in the recruitment world, I used to use tools like Doodle. Doodle is an online poll that is brilliant for booking large volumes of interviews, such as for assessment centres or large recruitment events. What interests you about the job? So when answering this question, think about what your strengths are and link those to the parts of the job that match with that strength. So for example, let's say that you were interviewing for a recruitment coordinator job that was in-house supporting a team of 4 recruiters. You might say something like, one of the things that really interested me was I noticed in the job description that I would be supporting a busy team. I work in a team now, and it's one of the things I enjoy most about my role. Liaising with my team on a day-to-day basis building that relationship, and the fact that my duties are varied. So I often get different types of requests from members in the team, which has required me to be flexible in my working style and grow that skill of flexibility. Now, you want to pick at least 3 or 4 things that interested you about the role and include some specific duties as well. So the next question is, what do you think might be the most challenging part of this job? Now, quick warning, don't say, I don't think there would be any challenges. I remember once I interviewed a candidate fairly junior for a similar role years ago, and the candidate said that they didn't think that there would be any challenges because everyone in the company is working towards the same goal. And although the reasoning was sound, it's unfortunately unrealistic as there are challenges in every role, and it did show a little bit of naivety as well. Some of the challenges that you may face in recruitment are usually related to workload. So as the recruitment coordinator, you can sometimes have lots of vacancies, which means that you are sending lots of emails and booking lots of interviews. So you might be dealing with lots of people chasing you or quite demanding managers. So you can mention this and talk about how you might deal with that challenge. You can say that you would stay calm and make managers feel confident that you have everything in hand, and you would always keep updating people if for any reason you can't meet timeframes, because communication is key. The next question is, how do you keep up your motivation and accuracy when carrying out repetitive tasks? This question is really important because in majority of admin roles, you have tasks that are repetitive but essential and require a high level of accuracy, such as shortlisting. So you could easily be looking through hundreds of applications, or it could be something as simple as photocopying documents, which can also be very repetitive. In your answer, talk about how you deal with it, but also include an example of a repetitive task that you've done in your current role or in a previous role. So your answer could include something like, I take regular breaks to ensure my concentration and accuracy stay sharp. I make sure I double check my work, and I work slowly and steadily rather than going fast and making lots of mistakes. But most importantly, I enjoy the pace and concentration that repetitive tasks require. So this will show that you're not fazed by repetitive tasks and you actually enjoy them, which can address your motivation. And you can also include tools you use, such as, I also utilize any available tools. For example, if I'm sending out lots of the same emails, such as interview confirmation emails to candidates, I set up templates so that I don't need to write out the whole email from scratch every time. It helps me to save time and maintain a high level of accuracy. Examples like this show that you take accuracy seriously and you've taken active steps to make sure that you maintain it. If you do struggle in interviews with answering questions, you can download my top 20 interview answers guide. It's totally free and it includes answers to some really tough interview questions, like why should we give you the job, what is your greatest weakness, and how do you handle pressure at work. So it also includes what you should be asking your interviewers at the end of your interview. So there's a link to that in the description below this video. Again, it is totally free for you to download and enjoy. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, do like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you'll know when a new video is ready, and I'll see you in the next video.